battling to the line. His giant slalom goal. For the skate of his life. Got it!
You're watching the Olympic Channel, home of Team USA.
The top American dance team the past 2 years is the top one here. Madison Hubbell and Zach Donahue lead the way after the rhythm dance. The two-time world medalists are poised to defend their title at Skate America. Olympic Channel, home of Team USA, welcomes you to the ISU Grand Prix of Figure Skating. Tonight, it's Skate America, presented by American Cruise Lines. Brilliant look down on the strip here in Las Vegas. Bright lights. Short distance away, we are inside Orleans Arena, which has been the site of many basketball tournaments, Western Athletic Conference, West Coast Conference. Tonight's all about skating. It's on the ice and the top names in the game. Rhythm dance out of the way, and we're set for the free dance now. Terry Gannon, along with the 5-time Skate America champ in white, checking out the standings after the rhythm dance. Hubbell and Donahue, the Americans, American champs. They're looking for another title here. Stefano van Buchen coming off an injury, but they're right there in second. Fournier, Baudry, and Sorensen from Canada rounding out the top three. So you got the opening group out there warming up, but the headliners getting set backstage. Madison Hubbell, Zach Donahue had great success with their rhythm dance.
They really did, and they brought a new flavor to their skating, one that we haven't seen in a little while from them. Really playful. She was portraying Marilyn Monroe. It certainly was a nice way to lighten the mood, but more importantly, to make a debut on this Grand Prix series. We hadn't seen them at the early international events, so it was the first time showing them, and they were fantastic.
One of the teams out there in this opening group, in sixth place from the U.S., Christina Carrera and Anthony Ponomarenko.
And it was just heartbreaking yesterday to see her after the performance in tears. They were so disappointed, and you know, in practice they have been so spectacular. I said when I watched her, she was a girl after my own heart in practice, because she was attacking those performances. They make such a statement with their confidence, with the conviction of their movement, in this free dance in particular. But I think yesterday the moment and perhaps their own expectations just weighed too heavily on them in the rhythm dance. So I really hope they can command this performance and feel good about what they put on the ice here at Skate America.
It was kind of heartbreaking to listen to her, because she was promising we'll be better in the free dance. I promise we'll be better.
Giving the sense that you've let anyone down, and they certainly have not. This is just the process that every team has to go through, especially a younger team still developing on this senior stage. I always say to young skaters who are asking for advice, you know, unfortunately, for me, it felt like I had to go through every scenario. I had to go through skating sick. I had to go through a costume malfunction. I had to go through X, Y, and Z to reach the point where I'd gotten that all out of the way, and now I can just have my moment.
And sometimes that does take the pressure off. You know you've gone through it, and it didn't stop your career. You're still out there
Absolutely.
skating.
And the reality is that performance, those scores, it takes nothing away from the excitement and the potential surrounding this team.
All right, so the warm-up over, just about set to go. Crowd still settling in here in Orleans Arena. Not far from where the Golden Knights train. This becomes some kind of sports town, but also some kind of ice town, whether it be the NHL, but also the young kids who have taken up figure skating here too. The numbers have just gone through the roof.
Absolutely. And you know, for the skaters who are competing in this event, I've been milling around backstage, and they're all excited to be here in Las Vegas. I mean, this is the entertainment capital of the world. It's a destination that a lot of these international athletes in particular have always thought about or dreamt about visiting. It's a real spectacle. So it's kind of fun for them too to be in this place.
You want to say you've been to Las Vegas.
That's right.
No matter who you are.
Not to say that they've had any chances to enjoy it the way most people do. They've been locked up in a hotel room or in the arena, but that's just the reality. You know, a lot of the times I talk about where I've been, where I've traveled to, but realistically, I've only seen the inside of arenas in Paris and Moscow and Australia.
Sofia Shevchenko and Igor Eremenko.
So on the ice first from Russia, 17-year-old Sofia Shevchenko and 22-year-old Igor Eremenko, currently in 9th place. So numbers-wise, a long way back, but just getting things going for their first senior international debut here in Las Vegas, the Russian junior champs from 2019. And this is their overall first competition of the season.
This program is really in keeping with a trend they've been doing in their time skating together, in that it's set to unique music with modern movement and interpretation. So it's not necessarily a narrative, it's more abstract and experimental in its style. Really nice musicality and control through the changes of positions and that straight line lift.
It's another time, it's another day, no mistake new, but it's all the same. Running from yourself, it will never change if you try it. Give us a little love, give us a little love. We never had enough, we never had enough. Give us a little love, give us a little love. We never had enough, we never had enough.
Sophia started skating when she was 5. She was originally a singles skater. These two teamed up back in 2014. So if you do the math, go back 5 years, she would have been 12 years old.
You know, I have to say there's a lot of fast movement in this choreography. It's timed really well with the music and a lot of detail to train, and on a less prepared team it could look messy and frenetic, but instead they've really cleaned up a lot of the delivery of those little choreographic moments, which is helping to leave me with an overall more positive impression of this program. Great way to start the competition. They definitely attacked that program. You can see where they still need to develop with the strength, with the power, the basic skating, but it was a solid start.
From Moscow, 17-year-old Sofia Savchenko and 22-year-old Igor Eremenko. The numbers for Savchenko and Eremenko of Russia totaling up to 166.51.
You know, that was a clean performance, so that was a strong score for them, and I think really maximizing what they can offer right now with where they're at in their skating.
Chinese silver medalists from 2019, Chen Hong and Sun Xiaoming. She's from Harbin, he's from Changchun. In 10th place after the rhythm dance. Second season together. Both have been competing for some time, but with different partners. This, their Grand Prix debut now.
Set of twizzles to open the program. Unlike in the rhythm dance, there's a little more freedom to the amount of steps and elements you can do in between those two required twizzles. So we'll see some creativity there. Called a lot of your skating. I should know this, but I just can't remember. Did you ever skate to Meatloaf? I can't say I have.
No, okay.
You know, maybe it's the Canadian in me, but I always feel a little disappointed when Celine's voice doesn't come into the song. Oh, just effortless entrance into this straight line lift. You know, this really is obviously a powerful piece of music. This is a big ballad to skate up to. And the song is beautiful. The lyrics are great. It can give you goosebumps, but you've got to really look at each other. You've got to really hold on to one another. And it just feels wrong any moment they take their eyes or their hands off of one another to me. So I think that's someplace they can really push even further, because people have an emotional reaction to this song. And they just need to tap into that much more to have the effect they're looking for. There were some really nice moments in that performance. I really like that choreographic sliding movement towards the end. The lifts were stunning. I think that overall, we'll talk about this in the free dance, there's a lot more simplicity, so they can add more speed moving forward as well.
Second team in this free dance, Chen Hong and Sun Xiaoming from China.
Second place.
Chen Hong, Sun Xiaoming from China. They're the numbers. Free dance 98.20, so into second place overall with 159 and change.
From the United States, please welcome Caroline Green and Michael Parsons.
They each used to compete and skate with their siblings. Now they're together. A brand new team, their first Grand Prix appearance. Caroline Green and Michael Parsons. And Caroline said, we've adapted really well quickly because we have trust. You tended to agree with their rhythm dance on that. See if it carries over.
Really good control from Michael through that first twizzle. That could have gone badly for him, and he saved it, getting ever so close to that toe pick on that revolution. To your point, Terry, in the rhythm dance, as is the case here, I'm really struck by the speed of this team. A lot of the time with new couples, there's some misfiring in the timing between one another, like an engine stumbling and regaining its pace. But for these two, they really do power along so smoothly. exciting new pairing. They really have come together so well, but the nuances, the layering is already developing. They're showing versatility from their rhythm dance to this free dance. I can't wait to see what's to come.
Caroline Green and Michael Parsons of the U.S.
Caroline Green.
Ready for the numbers now. Caroline Green, Michael Parsons, Rockville, Maryland, their hometown. It's what they need to lead, 98.55.
Competition score 173.03.
And 105.06 is the number. So into first place, 173.03, their overall score.
Welcome now from France, Marie-Jeanne Loriot and Romain Legat.
Marie-Jeanne Loriot and Romain Legat from France. She's 22, he's 24. They're currently in 7th place after the rhythm dance. 4-time French silver medalists, now in their 6th season together on the ice.
Beautiful opening rotational lift, covering a lot of ice, just so easy. That's where you gain those grade of execution points in an ice dance where, especially on the lifting elements, a lot of the couples are going to be getting level 4s. That's where you can really start racking up those differential points. Really unfortunate fall there. Not only the 1-point deduction, but it is during this diagonal step sequence, which is a big score in those technical elements. So that will be a hard hit. Program is showing a little bit of a softer side, I guess you'd call it, for this team. Remember, at the Olympic Games, we got another one, Bites the Dust. Last season, their free dance was a Bruno Mars medley. So trying to incorporate their natural athleticism now into a more elegant program.
Barely made it to the Olympics. She didn't get her citizenship until the very end, and his mom actually ran into the Minister of Interior Affairs right before the deadline, and somehow they got it done. She's from Canada, he's from France.
You know, you push yourself outside of your artistic comfort zone, not only to break up the monotony of your programs, but to challenge yourself even technically to improve skills that you may otherwise be able to hide in a different type of program. They did a great job. I applaud them for trying something new.
Can bring uncertainty, though, and they had that fall. Marie-Jeanne Loriot and Romain Legas from France. Team from France, Loriot, Legas, 167.14 when you add the rhythm dance and the free dance together.
And the score below 100 is definitely not what they were hoping for.
So it's Green and Parsons still with the lead.
United States, here are Christina Carrera and Anthony Ponomarenko.
Christina Carrera and Anthony Ponomarenko from the United States. Last year they had their senior debut, got a medal at one of their Grand Prix events, finished 5th at the U.S. Championships. Right now they come in 6th. Looking for a better effort here in the free dance, although it was exaggerated that they were not great in the rhythm dance.
Really nice transition in the middle of this twizzle sequence. So nice that they found that creative moment to change the level and keep the rotation going. Difficulty in the transitions in this program, a lot of unique choreographic features as well. And pushing themselves to take on that difficulty now will only serve them better in the future as they continue to develop the tension and the artistry in this program. they have skill, and now they have a fantastic Skate America performance to call their own.
Crowd loved it too. Christina Carrera and Anthony Ponomarenko, and he, of course, if you're a skating fan, you know his parents, Marina Klimova and Sergei Ponomarenko, the 1992 Olympic champs, ice dance legends, won 3 world titles. Tough to get a shot of them in the crowd because he says they can hardly watch. They have a tough time because of nerves, which is, you know, you're Olympic gold medalist and yet you're too nervous to watch, but that's what it's like when you have a kid out there.
I think it's even harder when you know what that moment feels like at center ice, and then to have to project that thought onto your own child. It's terrifying. I don't think I'd want to do it either.
Might find out someday.
No, I hope not. Don't say it. But you know, this program, first of all, what a redemption from the rhythm dance. They really needed this, I think, for their confidence to walk away from this competition feeling proud. They should anyway, including the rhythm dance, but just to have that security that they belong at this level, that they are continuing their ascension. It started out with this beautiful set of twizzles. I really do love the choreography that they put in between the 2 sets of revolutions right here with her sweeping to the ground. Wonderful control. It was just such a highlight moment and one of the many very smart and effective moments of choreography in this program. You know, when you take on a flamenco as a style, it's difficult with your conditioning even just to train it, but then to perform it, because the tension in your body and your muscles has to be maintained so thoroughly from start to finish. They had a tango program last year. This is a good development and evolution from that in terms of their maturity, and I think this program will really train them and help them grow as they continue to find ways to finesse the positions, finish them with strength. Any moment where I saw just an arm sort of loosely flow off the end, I thought, missed opportunity. And they will continue as they nail down these technical elements and feel more confident in their execution to focus on those kind of details at home. It's just peeling the layers of what you need to get through. So right now they'll look at the drawing board, see what level they got and grades of execution they got for their technical elements, but eventually those details will all come into place to make this program that much more solid. Beautiful choices in the styling of these lifts, her flexibility on display. And you know, I think she was really wonderfully highlighted in this program as well. She took on a lot of the responsibility with some of those creative movements and handled herself beautifully.
She said it was the worst performance of that rhythm dance and just wanted to get the feeling when she left the ice, she just wanted to go back out there right then and do the free dance to make up for what happened. And
at this stage in your career, you're so anxious to prove yourself as one of the top. You just put so much pressure on yourself.
Should be good numbers. We'll see. In 102 and change. Yep, 110. Went flying by that. So 180.55 for Carrera and Ponomarenko of the U.S. And the U.S. 1-2 in the standings so far. You still have the top U.S. team to come. Madison Hubbell and Zach Donahue, the favorites, the leaders after the rhythm dance. They'll skate for gold as we continue from Vegas. Final group out there warming up, and Hubbell and Donahue atop the standings trying to win the gold medal here at Skate America for the 2nd straight year. Stepanova and Buchan in 2nd, Fournier, Baudry, Sorensen in 3rd right now. 2 Americans, though, atop the standings at this point as we welcome you back in. Terry Gannon alongside Tanith White. Sometimes it takes a long time to get to the top, and Hubbell and Donahue for years were 3rd, 4th at the U.S. Championships, 2-time U.S. champions now, 2-time world medalist and defending champions here. They've arrived.
They absolutely have. I mean, they broke through a couple of seasons ago, and it's interesting because they have said themselves that what was really holding them back in the past was their inconsistency, their inability to deliver when it really counted. And they dealt with some heartbreaking moments where they were on the precipice of a big result and they just couldn't deliver with mistakes popping up. But that was because they said they're such emotional competitors that took over, and they weren't able to really harness their technical skills along with that performance value. Now that has become their greatest strength because they've maintained that artistry but have developed the strength with their fundamentals to withstand that as well. well.
Any uncertainty in that rhythm dance that you saw? Because this is their first event of the year. Not only their first Grand Prix, but you go in, nobody's really seen it.
More so than anything else, I just felt like, well, here are the seasoned veterans, because that's how they handled themselves. They looked so cool, so confident. It's natural at any stage in your career to feel nervous about debuting a program. You don't know how it's going to be received. Feels pretty good in practice, but you don't know the audience reception, what the judges' scores will be. They didn't seem concerned with that at all. They seemed completely confident that they had the package, the material. They just needed to put it out on the ice.
So the warm-up has ended. Teams leave the ice. Hubble and Donahue will be the third team to take the ice. Stepanova and Buchan will be the final team out there.
They compete on behalf of Spain. Please welcome Olivia Smart and Adrian Diaz.
So Olivia Smart and Adrian Diaz from Spain, the first team here in this second group, the 2018 Spanish national champs, paired up during that Olympic quad to make a run at the Olympics, but it was controversial. They were not chosen, even though they were the Spanish national champs. Won it back in 2018. They're currently in fourth place, about 8.5 points out of first.
Olivia and Adrian really stood out in the rhythm dance competition. So much personality.
One must always remember the first rainstorm of the season. Don't open an umbrella. Happiness is like rain.
I'm just a fool to love you. I'm such a fool to think you care. Although you're here, your heart disappears without a sound. My heart's upside down.
I think this middle section of music is the most compelling of the program and offers a chance for them to build more on the connection between the two characters they're portraying. Their coaches told us this is a sad clown love story, and I think as the season goes on, if they can continue to exploit this opportunity to tell the love story side of it, it will really help this program come together.
I cannot feel what once was so real without you. Now I need your love. Listen to me, 'cause your eyes just want to see the magic of having you near. So please listen to me. You're my one and only love.
Happiness is like rain. It arrives instantaneously, and then it goes away when it wants.
always fascinated by choices. A sad clown love story. How you settle on that?
You know, and I can understand sort of approaching circus idea with these two because their athleticism with the acrobatics is undeniable. They are incredible with what they are capable of accomplishing with a lot of those elements, and they stay very committed to the theme from start to finish. I have to say, I found the relationship a little bit confusing in the story, and there clearly is a story, but I just had a hard time following it and connecting to it. So that leaves me a little bit distracted.
It might develop over the course of the season.
Of course, it absolutely will. In all of these dances, especially in ice dance, there is a lot of development, not only to the elements to get the highest level of difficulty, but to the concept, even sometimes the costumes, what makes it most effective. This twizzle sequence, really nice rate of revolution. They were so quick, so solid. They approach things with a lot of confidence. They don't look tentative as they approach those technical elements, which is a really nice quality. Nice strength, extension, flexibility on this spin. And they, of course, put a lot of ingenuity into the unique elements that they created. There were times where I wondered, interest for interest's sake, to do something new and different, but then wondering, is it the most pleasing? Is it the most attractive position? And I think you have to be careful when you're trying to be creative, and especially when you're thinking outside the box with the characters and the styling, to make sure that it's still an attractive position. You take a look here, incredible flexibility, strength in this hydroblading movement, but for my money, that's not an attractive position. So there's a way, as they develop this program, I think, to just perhaps consider that and think of ways that they can find sort of a happy medium there.
You really rely on your team, don't you? Your coaches for that. You put that out there, and you got to get some feedback on whether or not it works.
And every season, ice dancers have to come up with new elements, and they're looking for ones that they've never seen before that fit the style of their program. It's a tall order. Same goes for the music. You heard some spoken word in there. We're going to be seeing that quite a bit this season. I'm not sure how I feel about it, to be honest. We'll talk about it more as the year goes on. But I think,
in general, or that in particular?
In general, because there's a couple teams using spoken word and dialogue this season, and my first thought is that the beauty of ice dance is how it can tell a story through the movement and the music. And so when you add spoken word to get a point across, it's more theater than dance to me. And that may just be me being stubborn to not evolve with the times, but I don't want to multitask and listen to talking coming from outside the performer to make that connection. It takes me out of the moment a little bit.
Yeah. It's not that long ago that, in general, in figure skating, lyrics were not even allowed, right?
Think of that.
You don't even think of it nowadays. You know, you get the feedback from the judges, too, just based on your numbers. It's one thing to get the feedback from your coaches, no matter how good they are. But then eventually, if it doesn't work with the judges and they're giving you that feedback, you got to change.
You know, you're absolutely right. And these two have competed internationally already this season at different events. So they've been getting that knowledge, that feedback systematically, I'm sure, making tweaks and adjustments as needed.
With the Russians next, and Hubble and Donahue. Oh, yeah, the camera's on you. Yeah. All right.
Even backstage, they create moments.
Didn't realize. So the long wait for the numbers, and we've had some long waits. Smart Diaz. Okay, 114.39 for the free dance portion, and overall into first place with 191.01, and that's a personal best.
Representing Russia, please welcome to the ice Tiffany Zagorski and Jonathan Guerrero.
Had that breakthrough season in 2018 where they finished 8th at the World Championships and were very good at the Olympics, 13th, and they won the bronze medal at Skate America last year. Tiffany Zagorski and Jonathan Guerrero from Russia.
Tiffany and Jonathan once again worked with legendary Olympic dance champion Christopher Dean on their free dance this year, as they did last season. They said skating to Survivor was semi-inspired by having to overcome the disappointment of placing 7th at Russian Nationals last season after a standout Grand Prix. So some personal motivation behind this selection. Skating to a piece of music like this that is so bold and dynamic and demands such strength, to have little moments of instability like we saw from Jonathan there during that double twizzle, it doesn't take away from the level that you'll receive necessarily, but it just diminishes the impact of the style that you're selling ever so slightly. And as the conditioning kicks in now towards the second half of the program, they have to stay sharp. One of the cleanest performances I have seen from them in a very long time, and really they maintained the integrity of this whole composition quite well from start to finish. In practice, there were moments that left me feeling like I was going to be holding my breath through this program, that there might be some bobbles. Not the case today.
5th place after the rhythm dance from Russia, Tiffany Zagorski and Jonathan Guerrero. Kiss and cry, wait for the numbers, pose for pictures. That's what you do.
You're happy to do just about anything once the relief of the program being over has set in, and they should be very happy with this performance. There were some really strong moments, very well tuned to the theme of the program. They said they wanted to choose this music because it was bold and different from the more lyrical, abstract free dance styles, which have become increasingly popular in recent years, and they certainly do set themselves apart taking on a program like this. I have to say, though, with, part of the reason why that lyrical style of free dance, I think, really became a trend was just that buoyancy of the interpretation. It helps you get those nice edges and the step sequences. You don't have to attack it quite so much, but these two are proving that you can really get those levels up and be aggressive in your styling and take on something new and different and accomplish it very well here this early on in the season.
It's got to be a constant battle, whether to change, how much to change, or to know what you do well and really go with it.
And I really appreciate, too, last season, working for the first time with Christopher Dean on their free dance, they took on a lot of difficulty, and it took a long time to smooth out. They went back to him this season and have found an even better relationship with what they've produced.
110.64 is the number for the free dance. 181.82 in second place. So it's Smart and Diaz still leading the way from Spain.
Now on the ice from the United States, Madison Hubble and Zachary Donahue.
Taking the ice, the top team here and one of the top teams in the world. Silver medal at the World Championships in 2018, the bronze last year, and the last two U.S. titles. Madison Hubble and Zach Donahue in first place after the rhythm dance and looking to go back-to-back at Skate America.
Tell me something, boy. Aren't you tired trying to fill that void? Or do you need more? Ain't it hard keeping it so hardcore?
Is that me?
That's you.
Don't ask me about tomorrow, but tell me about my past. My heart is yours tomorrow. Ain't nothing meant to last. I ain't lying. I don't lie. La, 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 la. I told my giant dad to go away. So I'll tell you that you'll be okay. 'Cause I ain't lying. I don't lie. Lullaby.
This free dance to the music of Star is Born, of course, you have to expect will be best understood by a North American audience, but their Grand Prix are Skate America, Skate Canada, and the World Championships are in Montreal. So I think there was a very strategic choice to bringing this free dance out at this time, and no one else could do this like they do.
Tell me something, girl. Hey,
What?
I just want to take another look at you. Are you happy in this modern world?
I'm falling in all the good
There are so many emotions to unpack in this story, and you know when it comes to deep diving into the artistry of a dance program that it's in good hands with these two.
A lot of different layers to that as well. And overall, just watching it, you get the sense that it's the confidence to dive into that, let it all go, and it's not a competition anymore. It is just bringing something to the ice.
And that's the evolution that they've even talked about that they've taken at this stage in their careers, that of course they want to win, they want to get the scores, but the process, the development of their own artistry, of being able to be storytellers on the ice is as valuable to them as anything else. And you can see that in their commitment, their belief in this selection. And it's hard to put those feelings into a 4-minute program. It's hard to make difficult transitions and Choctaws feel like they're serving the characters when all you want is to watch them just act out those goosebump-inducing moments from the story.
Just feel bad for our cameraman, Larry Newcomb, who got hit in the head with a teddy bear a moment ago, and then they checked to make sure he's okay, and he is.
You know, the adaptation of this movie into a free dance, a great challenge that these two have taken on. I'm excited to see it develop, but boy, look at these elements. I mean, so much speed into that first twizzle, the strength of their free leg. I can never quite get over how solid they are in their core bodies in that extended leg twizzle. Slightly off balance from Madison in that second twizzle, but should not affect the level whatsoever. And of course, their ability to just bring the emotion into the technical elements, it's something that I've touched on with the couples that we saw, in particular in the first group of competitors, is sort of having that emotion, the performance, having to be held back in order to stabilize the technical elements. But for these two, it's really part of how they style, how they create their elements, how to bring that moment forward. And it's really not necessarily about the acrobatics in this program, and it shouldn't be. It's just about how do we stay connected while we're doing a level 4 lift, and I think they've really found a lot of those great moments already.
Thank you. You can kind of tell, it just struck me as you're talking through it too, it's almost like an actor. I mean, it's got to be exhausting because you're living those emotions. You're being it. You're not acting it. It is you. It's what you're feeling.
Very much so. And you know, one of the things that you oftentimes experience in your first outing with a performance is you don't know yet where to emotionally pace yourself, especially in your debut where you just want to sell the heck out of this program that you train so much. You give it 100% in every moment, and then you lose a little bit of steam towards the end. So you start to understand where to pace yourself emotionally, and that's something that they'll develop as well. But they continue to demonstrate not only that they can show superior skating skill, but can layer heavy emotions onto it without flinching technically. And that's really, I think, what sets these two apart at this time. I have to tell you, though, I watched this program in practice, and there was a moment where, in practice, you don't do a full run-through. You take a break in between. You choose a few pieces to show when the music is played for you. They took a break right during the beginning of Shallow, and they just stood in the middle of the ice, held each other in their arms around each other's waist, hand to the cheek, and I just thought, you could do that for about 3.5 minutes, and I would just about love it. I mean, that's what you feel like you want from this story. That's what you know you felt when you saw the movie. You probably wept quite a bit, like I did as well, you know? And so that's the challenge now for these two, is to continue to find those moments where you don't think about this as being an ice dance program. It's just goosebumps from start to finish.
It is funny when you do bring, and we've got a scoring delay, obviously, that's what we're waiting for. But when you bring a movie to the ice or something that people have experienced elsewhere, you do touch on those things that people experienced from that.
And they have the expectation of how they felt.
Yeah.
Madison Rebel and Zachary Donahue of the United States emerged in the free dance.
So they're checking out the numbers, kind of back and forth, trying to make out how well received that was. 209.55. Now listen, it is #1, and chances are they're going to win here, but there's a deeper level to that. They're trying to think, was this well received from the judges? First event. on the ice from Canada, currently in third place after the rhythm dance. Trying to medal here. Laurence Fournier-Beaudry and Nikolai Sorensen. She's 27. He is 30. They used to compete for Denmark.
Last season, these two turned a lot of heads. They were 10th at the World Championships. They seem to have all the right ingredients to move into that next tier of competitors, but they weren't quite there yet. And this season, they come out with material ready to take that next step.
She is from Canada. He's from Copenhagen. They competed for Denmark, but she wasn't able to get Danish citizenship, and so they now represent Canada, train in Montreal.
Between these two, the looks that they give one another, and this program on another team could run the risk of being generic. We've heard Buble plenty of times in skating, but the drama, the tension, the chemistry that they bring really helps them to stand out. Delay there as they set up that first position in the lift, and it's too bad because really these two have some of the most effortless looking lifts in ice dance today. I still love the interpretation in this program. Unfortunately, there were moments of instability that didn't make this their best performance of this particular free dance. Nonetheless, a great program.
In third, maybe a fragile third after the rhythm dance, Laurence Fournier-Beaudry and Nikolai Sorensen. The Canadians with the numbers you're seeing there. So 197.53 in the second place behind Hubble and Donahue.
They represent Russia. Here, Alexandra Stepanova and Ivan Lupin.
It's always good when the clapping builds to welcome you to the ice. Already got it going. Five-time Russian medalist and the European silver medalist from 2019, Alexandra Stepanova and Ivan Bukin in second place, some 3 points off the lead after the rhythm dance.
Terry, this is a team who in the past with different programs have sometimes looked a little bit more gymnastic-y, I guess, than sophisticated. But so far, this is a nice, elegant program and a side of them that I haven't really seen before. For the first time getting a brand new free dance out, I think they should be very happy with their ability to just deliver all of those elements. having said that, you could see that they were pacing themselves through that checklist. It's sort of unavoidable the first time out, but Hubble and Donahue were in the same boat, and we saw them connect to the emotion much better.
Not entirely unavoidable, because it can happen.
That's right, yeah. You know, when I first heard that they were skating to Justin Timberlake, I got a little bit concerned, not because I thought it would be a bad fit for them, but because I didn't know if it was a vehicle with which they could show evolution in their skating and contrast what they've done in recent years. But I really was surprised at the direction that they took with the combination of the pieces and the music they chose, the costuming, very subtle. It's not what I was expecting. I'm still trying to digest it.
Careful, JT fans are going to get upset with you now, and they send a lot of emails.
What?
No, you know what? And you talk about gymnastics and in the past and their type program. That on some level that worked for them, though. It did draw you in. You know, it was an elegant program.
And as I mentioned in the Moulin Rouge rhythm dance program, their strength is really in their connection. I mean, they sort of exist in their own little world together, and there's a bit of a mystery there where you can't really take your eyes off of them. I really love that about this team, and I think that as they continue to get more comfortable with the content of this free dance, they'll be able to really tap into that. There were just moments where I felt like they weren't entirely sure how they want to interpret this piece of the program in every instance. Opened up with a really fast twizzle sequence here, staying nice and tightly together. And this first minute of the program, which this element was within, it really surprised me. It gave them a chance to show some nice, strong, controlled edges. They didn't unnecessarily show how flexible, how acrobatic they can be. They just stayed in tune and keeping with the style. Again, a little more elegant, I think, and that was really nice to see. Costuming as well, just very beautiful. And here the stationary lift. And I really, with all of the elements that they put into this program, I thought they were very well tuned to the sentiment that they want to put across. It's a different Stepanova and Buchan. And this, even here with the choreographic step sequence, there's a little bit of a flair of hip hop, but they didn't go campy, they didn't go too over the top, they kept it controlled with that drama a little bit more as well.
Ivan Buchan, the son of Andrei Buchan, who skated with Natalia Bestemyanova, and they won the '88 Olympic gold medal, along with 4 world titles. Hubble and Donahue trying to keep that run going for the Americans. It's amazing. This would be the 11th straight year that U.S. teams have won Skate America. Got a decade and counting. So 209.55 is what Hubble and Donahue were able to get.
Russia have earned for their free dance
124.6. Wow. Look at the rank in the free dance. Overall, they finish in second, 206.57.
This is huge. What better affirmation that you're on the right track can you get than that?
And let's send it over to Andrea Joyce.
All right, Terry, as you mentioned earlier, unlike past seasons, no warm-up events for you guys before this first Grand Prix. What was it like for you to throw that out there for the very first time and come away with a convincing win?
Well, it was a great way to start the season here at Skate America, so we certainly feel a little bit of comfort here in our home crowd. But it's great. We never know how it's going to be that first time out. We don't know how people are going to like the program, and it seemed like the crowd really got into it, and we can't wait to keep building.
They did, and like last year, though, you guys are doing back-to-back Grand Prix assignments. You head to Canada for Skate Canada next week. What's the thought behind that scheduling strategy?
Well, last year was a choice. This year, it wasn't as much of a choice, but we kind of like it. Like, it's nice for us to take the time to prepare and then just bam, bam, put them out. And we have a huge chunk of time to look back at both competitions, reevaluate, make a few adjustments if need be, really tweak things, get deeper into the connection, into the storyline of the program, and then present that product at the final.
Congratulations and good luck next week.
Thank you.
Terry?
Busy schedule to start the season, but successful one here. For the 11th straight year, Americans have won the ice dance competition at Skate America. Hubble and Donahue, the champs. You can watch all the action from Skate America on NBC Sports Gold Figure Skating Pass for our entire Olympic Channel crew, Lieutenant White included, I'm Terry Gannon saying goodbye, everybody, from Skate America and Las Vegas.